Southampton, NY, the man responsible for making sure the U.S. Open is a fair golf tournament, said he was caught off guard by the wind on Long Island, which as spin control goes is really something. Shinnecock Hills sits at the end of an island in the Atlantic Ocean. The only thing we are certain to have here on Long Island other than unbearable traffic and rich white people is wind, but, somehow, those nasty gales surprised the United States Golf Association and the man in charge. Mike Davis went on Fox after the final putt mercifully landed in the cup and tried to explain why, exactly, the 118th rendition of this proud event had become a clown show. "We thought it would be a great day," Davis, the CEO of the USGA, told Fox after the third round. "Frankly, we missed it with the wind. The speed of the greens was too much for the wind we had. It was a very tough test, but probably too tough this afternoon. Probably, there is no probably, Mike. The USGA blew it, again. Yes, the U.S. Open is supposed to be the toughest major, a grueling deviation from the birdie bonanza that is the average weekend on the PGA Tour and even the three other majors. Everyone understands that, but it is also supposed to be fair, and the final few hours at Shinnecock Hills was anything but fair." The USGA, in its annual attempt to ensure the highest scores possible at its premier championship, set up the course on the absolute edge for the third round. That was okay, for a while. Tony Finau and Daniel Berger, who teed off in the morning, each shot a 4 under 66 to move up the leaderboard when the greens were still somewhat receptive. Then the winds came, making the already crusty greens into sheets of glass. To quote Zach Johnson, "They've lost the golf course. Good approach shots were rolling off the green. Downhill putts had no hope of stopping near the cup." Co-leader Dustin Johnson, who started the day at 4 under, had an 16-foot putt for birdie on the 18th hole, barely tapped the ball, and was lucky only to have an 8-footer back for his par. "Geez," he said, "you missed that." Johnson went from 4 shots ahead of the field to a 4-way tie for first, and yes, his own shaky play had plenty to do with that. But so did the conditions. "I played Augusta and had a Masters meltdown. It's small margins to start with," said Henrik Stenson, another victim of the late-day conditions. "I mean, the greens aren't running perfectly smooth in the first place. But then in the afternoon, when they get crusty and baked, it's like glass around the hole." Then Stenson was asked what the USGA should do to make the course more playable for the final round. "I don't think they're interested in listening to my remarks or anyone else's remarks, because then we would have seen some different pin positions and setups over the years," he said. "It is what it is." The incredible part? Davis, at a press conference in May, promised this wouldn't happen again. The last U.S. Open at Shinnecock in 2004 was a disaster, too, when play was halted because the green on the 7th was propelling balls like a trampoline. "I would just say that it was 14 years ago, it was a different time, it was different people, and we as an organization, we learned from it," Davis said then. You'll note the different people part. Davis was telling the world that, under his leadership, things would be different. Instead, here we are. There is little doubt that Davis and his cronies, stung by the big red numbers at Erin Hills, wanted to exact revenge. They wanted to make sure the winning score wasn't going to approach the 16 under that Brooks Koepka posted last June. Now, chances are, it won't be the best golfer holding up the trophy as the sun sets on Long Island on Sunday. It will be the luckiest one. Finau and Berger played a different course than Johnson and Koepka and Gulp. Ricky Fowler, who started the day in contention at 2 over and shot a 14 over 84. "We've all been asking for a real U.S. Open again," former winner Justin Rose said. "I guess we've got one." Davis promised a great Father's Day finale, thanks to a crowded leaderboard, and practically guaranteed that he'd be dragging the hoses out himself to slow down the greens, but it's too late. The USGA messed up its premier event again, and given its track record, is anyone really surprised? Steve Politi may be reached at politi@advancemedia.com. Follow him on Twitter at Steve Politi. Find NJ.com on Facebook.